against Sporting Lisbon. The fifth goal coming from Raheem Sterling, who now has made his way into the top 10 goal scorers for City of all time. A huge congratulations to Raheem Sterling, to the whole team, to the whole club. What an incredible game this evening. So I'm still joined in the studio by David James and by Nedum and Onuoha. Just the one goal in the second half there, David, but we'll take it, eh?
Yeah. No, hang on. Just one goal. What a goal for that just one goal. Overall, what a fantastic performance. I was just saying to Nedum there, seeing the Sporting fans singing at the end of the game, and there's a bit of sour grapes, obviously, because they just got absolutely smashed at home. But at the same time, I think they would have genuinely enjoyed the fact that City was so good, or so clinical. They got beat by the best team. But that one goal, as you say, what a goal.
Let's talk about the goal. So it came in the 58th minute, Nedum. Raheem Sterling, just absolute beautiful into the top right-hand corner. How would you describe it?
It was magnificent. You know, it's like the ball, it just sent the ball to its home. You just go back to your home, go live up there. And, you know, in fairness, look at the goal he scored on the weekend against Norwich. He's clearly not too bad when he comes in from that side. But yeah, it was a fantastic goal. It was a shame that Bernardo's was disallowed for offside. It seemed like it was a fairish sort of decision, but that goal was truly remarkable. And you can see, like, he's a guy that's very, very confident. He comes in almost expecting to score, and he can deliver moments like that. And I think we've seen that quite a lot over the years.
Oh, what a moment it was. David, I refer to you as the stat man again, but I've got some stats for you. I think you're going to love them.
Let's go.
This is Raheem Sterling's career at Manchester City. So this you're looking at his goals from 15, 16, 11, then 16, 17, 10, and then you've got 17, 18, 23, 18, 19, 25, 19, 20, 31. Last season, 14, and as it stands, 13 goals.
So not bad then.
Not bad.
What a phenomenal record, right?
Well, we were talking about him before and how wonderful he's been doing for Manchester City. I mean, just to go back to the goal, the thing I loved about it most, and that last angle where you see it from behind Raheem, two defenders essentially blocking the goalkeeper. He doesn't have to hit it as hard as he can. It's a pass into the top corner.
He just sent it to its home.
And
just go to your home.
Nedum said, yeah.
Just go to your home, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, the goal stats. I mean, again, this is sort of indicative of what City are about at the moment. Michael Brown was saying in commentary there, wasn't he, about the goals are coming from so many different sources. Wow.
Yeah.
Sporting, you going back into the change room now, I'm sure, and going, what just happened?
Right, and it's so true. Mahrez, Silva, Foden, Silva, Sterling. The goals are coming from all over. Spectacular goals as well in there as well. We really are getting so many worldy gifts lately as well, David.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just, I'm still stunned by that first half because of the way things went. And you're planning for Sporting. They're going to have to plan the second leg. What do we do that we didn't try and do in the first game? And also we've got a 5-0 deficit to try and overcome. So their task is, nigh on impossible, you'd say. But then the next team that City could face will then have to look at this performance as well and say, this is what they're capable of doing. And I'm sure Pep will be saying, we can, I think Michael said it there, there's things that we can improve on.
Yeah, which is crazy. It seems crazy. And this game sort of puts you in a really weird position, especially after that first half, because, you don't want to see your team struggle. You anticipate it's going to be a really tough game. Then all of a sudden, it's like the game's over, and now you're really uncomfortable because it's like, what? This is weird. How do you don't prepare yourself to be 4-0 up at half time away in the Champions League, and then to have a fifth, and then what? What? It's like getting all your Christmas presents before Christmas. Is like, well, now what now? Is this it?
But also still keeping in mind that there's a whole more 90 minutes to go. So I went to Google the fixtures of the next round and then I stopped myself.
Yeah, you relax you.
But it's 5-0 up, isn't it, as well? But still, I stopped myself because, you know what Pep would say, take it every game at a time. But in terms of the next game, David, what will Sporting's plan be?
Their plan.
Other than score 6 goals, obviously.
It's their heaviest defeat of the season. I mean, they lost 4-2 to Ajax, I think, in the Champions League. But the plan is more, I think, more damage limitation than anything else. Because, I mean, there's a potential for aggregate records to be broken. If I'm not mistaken, that's the equal. Actually, is that not the biggest away win in Champions League or something like that, especially for City? So all these things come into play. And I think Pep's approach to the game will be right.
Yeah.
This won't be about qualifying through the final. It'll be about playing a game of football, 90 minutes, and making sure the Man City do the right things. Well, today they did the right things. There was a little bit of fortune in some of the opportunities, but by doing the right things, as Nedum says, the fact that Foden is in that position and the ball gets to him and he puts it in the back of the net is because he did the right things.
Yeah.
If he thought, oh, there's 3 defenders, I'm not going to get it, then they clear it, and all of a sudden it's not 5-0 at the end. It's 2-1.
Yeah.
Different task.
I think they were really impressive, not necessarily for the goals that they scored, but the attitude that they had, the performance that they put out there, and even when the game felt like it was done, because, you know, psychologically for lots of people watching, like at 4-0 at half time, the game is done, but it's still maintaining the standards in the second half. And that's why, you know, in your mind, you try not to, but you sort of skip the second leg because they're a team where you trust and believe in their performance. So as I say, they're incredible. They're incredible. They made maybe 2 or 3 mistakes where they gave the ball to Sporting in their defensive third. But aside from that, like, they were incredibly clinical and they fully bought into the process of what was needed to win this game. Tactically, I thought they were magnificent. And when they go to that second leg now, I think they'll come up against a Sporting side that, you know, they've taken a hit, so they won't be as confident as they were before. But you can still believe that they'll put forward a performance. This is City, which is designed to win that game. Mm-hmm. And with the talent that they have, if they do that, sometimes we're blessed with performances like today.
Oh, we really were blessed today. Let's have a look at the match stats from today's game. So you can see there that City had 64% of the possession, 6 attempts on target, to Sporting's no attempts. And the big one there that we've not even talked about, everyone, the big news, a clean sheet, David. But
if it wasn't for that clean sheet, City probably would have lost today.
Has underpinned everything, Nedum.
Yeah, and the goalie's done really well to get it as well.
No
0
saves.
Shots on target, yeah. No, but I mean, in a 5-0 scoreline, of course, the clean sheet doesn't become that important. But as I say, this is a side, prior to tonight, had only failed to score on 1 occasion. The fact that they haven't had a shot on target in that clean sheet means that they're going to look at it and say, we didn't even create anything. Yeah. So, added together, everyone. Yeah. I want to say Edison had he did
what he had to do.
Exactly.
And like the no shots on target doesn't just come because the back four plays well. It comes because everybody plays well.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? The goalkeeper's organising the back four organising midfielders, midfielder organising the people in front. So for Sporting, every time they have to try and break City down, they have to break everybody down. And football, when you have to try and break everybody down, can be very difficult. When your confidence is low, it almost feels now impossible. And as you can see there, I think they had 3 shots probably in the first half. Mm-hmm. So the second half, they've existed, and they've not really done anything else.
So it's interesting something that Nedum was talking about when we were watching that first half and the position of the Sporting team. When you've conceded 2 early goals, and the team you're playing against is capable of scoring more, all of a sudden people get in scared positions. And I think that was the biggest thing about the performance with City today. Sporting was scared. And that is such a positive for City.
I absolutely love that. So Sporting was scared, City have scored 5 goals. I still think not played our best. Nedum, have we just sent a major message to the rest of Europe?
I personally don't think so overall to the people who are really buying into it, because people know who City are. This game against Sporting, they're heavily favoured for it because of the set of players that they have, the position in the league and so on, and the history over the last, couple of years of making it to the semi-final, the final and so on. So I don't think it's going to be a message like that, because not many people would say that Sporting Lisbon are one of the sort of big, successful European teams right now. I think if it was, say, against Real Madrid, if it was against PSG, I think that's a bigger message. But I think people acknowledge the fact now that, they thought City would make it into the later stages. And this kind of confirms that thought anyway. But, I'd like to say it's left a big message. But I think a lot of people, especially a lot of people who aren't really pro-City, will be like, well, of course they should do that anyway, because, they're only playing against Sporting Lisbon.
Can I say, well, I tell you what I liked, because City could have gone 2-0 up. and just kind of. I know there were 2 early goals, but they could have seen out a 3-0, which would have been nice and comfortable. But the fact they scored 5 goals meant that they're going to go essentially all the way. And again, it wasn't the best performance. I've seen City play better in a 1-0 win against Chelsea. But when you score 5 goals, it means, hang on, this team aren't going to just stop at 2 or 3. They're going to keep going. And the opportunities they had, there was a few rash shots, of course, but that would happen in any game. But I just like the fact that they were scoring goals.
I think for me, it was the tactical side of it, because they literally made Sporting play with the back 5. When you have 3 at the back and 2 wing backs, it's only really progressive if the wing backs can play like at least in the midfield line. When the other team pin you back, you've lost the battle already, because the midfielders, for them, they've got too much work to do. I think for City, as a consequence, they were encouraged, because tactically it was working so well and they never made an adjustment. So it meant that it was almost easier to be on the front foot, because the key players were able to get the ball in good areas and really just drive at the opposition. That was essential for 90 minutes straight.
I've just been told in here that Bernardo Silva's just done an interview for the media in which he said that it was particularly special for him tonight because his mum is a Sporting fan and his
so he didn't like his mum?
and his dad is a Benfica fan, apparently.
Daddy's boy, okay.
Oh, his daddy's, daddy's boy.
Oh, wow, love that. David, just to pick on something you said there and I sort of hinted at as well, that Chelsea game, that 1-0 Chelsea game for me was, one of our, if not our best performance of the season. Similar to the, I'd put that alongside the PSG home performance that we had here. Do you agree with my kind of sentiment that was not us at our best, that we definitely, in this game, winning 5-0, we still have 1 or 2 gears that we could have stepped up?
Yes, it's always difficult about gears, because it's like I think the stats there were double-digit shots in total. Well, at your best, all of those shots go on target, and theoretically you could score 10, 15 goals. But the Chelsea games are 2 games. When you look at the work rate of City and also what the opposition did, and I saw being live at those games and seeing Chelsea not knowing what to do, it was similar to today. Yeah. But Chelsea are a better team, I would say, than Sporting. So that's what made those performances better. There was more at stake, arguably, as well, because we're talking about the top of the Premier League as opposed to the round of 16 over 2 legs. This will go down as a great performance because it's a 5-0 win, but there were bits that could be improved on. And if I'm Pep for a moment, I'm thinking we could have won 7.
Yeah.
And in a way,
he's thinking that too, right?
We could have won 7.
Yeah, if we're talking like driving references, then what I would say, they're good at finding the right gear for the moment itself. You know, as you're taking a corner, you don't necessarily want to be in 5th going like 50 miles an hour there. You know, they take the right gear and they always seem to sort of carry on with the momentum the right sort of way in terms of dealing with the issue. I think for today, like the gear, whatever gear they were in, they scored 5 goals. They won away from home in the Champions League. If they needed to score 7 to save the planet, I'm sure they would have scored 7, possibly in the first half. But the fact is, this was the right thing. This was the right moment. This was the right performance. And obviously, every performance can be bettered in some way, shape, or form. But this is like 5-0 away in the Champions League is ridiculous.
There's no moans coming from here, put it that way.
None whatsoever.
Yes, I fully concur. Just smiles, just pure joy and happiness. Right, we're going to give you the answer to who's stat. So we've given you 3 clues throughout today's show. Last chance now to have a look at them. Hashtag Man City if you'd like to share to us who you think it is. So the player starred in 2 Champions League games against City in 16-17. I can tell you, he was playing for Monaco at the time. Clue 2 is the player ran a mammoth 13.7 kilometres in a game against Liverpool. He loves playing against Liverpool. Does this guy also likes tweeting about them as well? And clue 3, it named his dog John after his friend John Stones. So, reveal, David, would you like to do the announcement?
Well, he's there on the right, isn't he? Scored a couple of goals today. Should have had a hat-trick.
Yeah. Look, there he is.
Should have had a hat-trick.
Big reveal.
Yeah.
Bernardo
Silva, player.
Yes.
Player. His mum's currently crying, but it's fine because his dad's happy. Thank you for joining in playing Who's Stat at Home today. You can always join in. We love it when you do. It's hashtag Man City. Let us know what you think of our new game as well. Do you like that one? Do you like the one where we had the blurry picture, or do you like the other one that we play. Oh, with the pictures.
The emojis.
With the Cryptic
Cryptic
City.
City.
That was the one. You liked that one, Nedum. That was your favourite. So 5-0 victory tonight. Our next game is Saturday, 5:30 kickoff against Tottenham Hotspur here at the Etihad. Kel will be in the studio alongside Jolyon Lescott, and it's a special guest. He's going to be joined by Ledley King. So the first time we've had a former player in here that's not from City. So obviously former Spurs player Ledley King. That's going to be absolutely fascinating. So from 4:30 on Saturday. So just before we wrap up tonight, gents, just a word ahead of that game on Saturday. Spurs are having a roller coaster of a season, David. I don't really know what to expect from them.
How did you know that I went to the beach yesterday, near the circus or the fair? Yeah, they are. I mean, I don't know what you've been talking about in the last 2 weeks, but it's gone from Spurs guaranteed to finish in the top 4 to they've got a tough task to finish the top 4, and it's going to be a tough game. And for City having won so comfortably today, you then question which gear they were in and what kind of mindset they go into this Spurs game. Because one thing you know from Spurs is they're going to be desperately needing points. So. Not that I doubt City are capable of winning that game, of course, but the Spurs are a bit of a enigma at the moment.
I would agree with that. I think they are essentially a dangerous side with the sort of attacking prowess and stuff that they have, but they also have a ton of weaknesses at the minute. And I think their last 3 games kind of highlight that, which they've lost in the league. So City yet again enter as favourites, but they need to execute. And I think if they perform well, then I think it'll probably be a similar feeling.
Of course, they beat us in that first game of the season, Nedum. But to me, it feels like it's a totally different Spurs team and it's a totally different City team.
It literally is, yeah, because I think I was doing the Matchday Live for that as well. And there were so many sort of like youngsters who were playing. Raheem had just arrived back the day before, and it wasn't like the fluid City that we're seeing now. And this is what Pep said at the time. You know, people aren't where they would normally be if they had a full pre-season. So that game there is tough. Obviously, it was tough for a lot of teams at that point in the season, but unrecognisable. The setup then compared to now is unrecognisable. And I think if City can be anywhere near their best for this matchup, then I think they'll be just fine.
So we have Spurs on Saturday, and then in March we have the Derby, you have United here, and then in April we have Liverpool here. How key are these home advantages going to be against, I was going to say the big clubs, but you know what I mean these days, Nedum, don't you? You know what I'm saying.
The ones with lots of letters in as well.
Yeah.
I think it's so interesting. I was talking to Nedum earlier about Pep Guardiola and Champions Leagues and his successes, and quite often his teams, or lack of success at times, is where his teams have been running away with leagues and haven't had that competitive, I don't think that competitive build-up for finals or latter knockout stages. And what you have with this home advantage is, of course, Man City needing to win games, because if they don't, Liverpool, for example, are close enough, theoretically, with a win here at the Etihad, to be challenging for a title, which wasn't a question 3 weeks ago. So, again, continuation of what we saw today from City, continuation with taking home advantage. They can wrap things up or make things a lot tidier, but still have that competitive edge, which is needed, I think, for, how can I say, total European dominance.
I like that, yes. Oh, I like that. Although it just made me feel my stomach just suddenly jumped when you said that as well, the kind of nerves.
But this is what City are building for, European dominance. And the side that played today and the squad and the players who were unavailable, they haven't signed a City just to go through the motions. They want to be in a position where we're talking about dangerously quality opposition, tough matches, best matches in the world, best matches in Europe. They want to be playing in those games and winning those games, and that will justify their participation in the, successful seasons that City have.
And already, Nedum, I can imagine that Pep is switching his thinking now. This has been a great night for us, but it's done. It's Tottenham on Saturday now. How easy is it as a player to switch your kind of mentality from focus on the Champions League back to focus on the Premier League?
As somebody who never did it, I can't be too specific about that. But in terms of just on to the next game, I think for this, they'll obviously have a mini celebration now, but the recovery begins. Now we need to get ready. Who's going to be training tomorrow? What can we try and do to get ready for Saturday? And then who can come in 2 days' time to get ready for that? And it's one of the big reasons why they're so successful, is because the preparation for each game is it's of the highest standard. Physically, mentally, tactically, everything. They're so good at that. So I think Pep and his coaching staff, they'll look at this game, pick out some of the flaws within it, and then make sure that the team are prepared for the challenge on Saturday, which would be very different. But lo and behold, they're successful because they always seem to enter knowing what they need to do to win the game.
Thank you, gents, for joining me this evening. Always a pleasure,
Thank you.
David. Thank you. Always a pleasure, Nedum. It's been a very enjoyable evening. So just a reminder that Match Day Live is back on Saturday at 4:30 ahead of that Spurs game. Kel Spellman will be joined in the studio by Jolien Lescott and by Ledley King. Big thank you to Alistair Mann and Michael Brown for the wonderful commentary this evening. Alistair will be back on Saturday and he'll be joined by the legend that is Andy Morrison. I absolutely adore Andy Morrison's analysis, so highly recommended if you don't have the City app already. What are you doing? So thank you so much for joining us on this. Just what a lovely, enjoyable, wonderful evening all round. We've all had a wonderful, wonderful time. And of course, Raheem Sterling has had another wonderful night. Congratulations to him as he enters the top 10 City all-time goal scorers. I look forward now to seeing Raheem rise up that top 10 list, as I'm sure we all know that he is going to. So thank you for joining us on Matchday Live, and we'll see you again on Saturday.
Happy LGBTQ plus History Month.
LGBTQ plus History Month from Canal Street Blues to all our members, friends and allies around the world.
Wishing all our fans a happy LGBTQ plus History Month.
Happy LGBTQ plus History Month.
Wishing all our fans a happy LGBTQ plus History Month.
Happy LGBTQ plus History Month from everybody here at Manchester City Women Official Supporters Club.
A happy LGBTQ plus History Month from the Six in Brazil.
Happy LGBTQ plus History Month.
Happy LGBTQ plus History Month.
LGBTQ plus History Month.
I'm here to wish a happy LGBTQ plus History Month from everyone at the Six in Brazil. Love, respect, and always come on City.